So my background started a number of years ago, actually in the human services system, where I was newly out of college and hired to work in a program that was designed to help primarily single mothers with children who were receiving public assistance benefits, and provide case management in helping individuals obtain training, be it GED, be it some form of training for a career. And that particular job, while I was probably only serving as a case manager for maybe a couple years, led me into my next step along the journey, which was being promoted into a program director position for a newly created program that was in the county I was working at the time. And that program was designed to help single individuals who were in receipt of public assistance at that time, where the particular programming was being removed from the state of Ohio's offerings, and the county had decided to put some money into creating a program to put individuals into community service assignments and actually pay them for doing community work. So it involved setting up work sites around the county that were primarily at nonprofits, government organization, faith-based organizations, setting up a payroll system, helping to develop forms that were used. But it was a great experience that allowed me just to kind of continue along the way and helping people. And really, it was the passion of helping people who were less fortunate be able to benefit by getting into these services and programs and helping improve their economic circumstances. And again, this was many years ago, but it eventually led to being combined within the human services into the public workforce system, and recognizing that a lot of what was happening through the services and programs we were providing, it really led our county leadership at the time to figure out that it made sense to combine the services with the services that were being made available through the public workforce system. So I managed some other programs, led me into the WIA at the time, the Workforce Investment Act, to be part of the first one-stop that was certified in the state of Ohio, putting together a partnership that was now focused on helping all different types of people, including folks that were less fortunate, but now also dislocated workers, older workers, veterans, the gamut of backgrounds and demographics of folks that benefit from the public workforce system. And did that for a number of years, and then moved to a different county doing similar work that eventually advanced me up into a director position in a workforce development agency, and kind of being along the ride for the transition from WIA to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, and put in a good number of years serving as a director, working closely with a workforce board, and continuing to offer the valuable services to both the employers and job seekers that were benefiting from the system. And really the passion for helping people, for helping communities, for helping to allow people to become better employed, re-employed, employed for the first time. That's the passion that's kind of kept me very interested in being involved with the public workforce system. So Summit and Medina County are very different in a sense of the makeup of the county, the size of the county, things that are going on in the counties. Summit tends to be more of an urban area. They're both located in Northeast Ohio. Summit County is the fourth most populous county in the state of Ohio, only behind the three C's, which is Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus. So got a very large populous county. Population, I think, was somewhere near 540,000 individuals. It is the county seat is Akron, which is the largest city in Summit County. And for those that aren't familiar, Akron is the hub for the tire industry. So that's what the history of Akron is a very well-known tire industry. The county hosts many headquarters like Goodyear, Bridgestone, Hankook. So the major tire brands tend to have their corporate headquarters here in Summit County. Also fortunate to have University of Akron, which is a state university. They're very big on polymer research, which tends to be an industry that's growing in the community with all of the advancements and research that's being put in that particular industry. Also, Summit County does have Cuyahoga National Park, which is a very, very large national park. It's actually the 7th most visited national park in the nation. So a lot of people come to visit here in this community. And then it's a county that has a little bit of a higher unemployment. As of the last unemployment in Ohio that was reported, the unemployment rate for Summit County was about 5.3%, which is a little bit higher when you look at that compared to the average around the state. Medina, on the other hand, again, very different. It's a growing community. It's located between Cleveland and Akron. So you kind of are in the middle of two different large counties. It's a mix of both rural and urban, and it has a history of being more agriculturally focused. So if you were to drive through Medina County, you're going to see a lot of cornfields and large properties that just were used for agricultural purposes. But over the past number of years, it has been developing more industrial and service-based industry in the communities. It has a lower unemployment rate that probably can be attributed to the fact that it has a strong education system and a higher quality of life compared to the larger counties. Right now, the last unemployment rates were noted as being about 3.2%, so almost a couple percentage points lower than what you see in the Summit County area. So very different makeups of the counties. So what I would have to say is that, being a large county from the perspective of services being delivered in Summit County to a smaller county being Medina County and services being delivered, I think going where people are and meeting people where they are, not only in a sense of what their needs are, but also where they're located. So we've taken initiatives. KRA has staff that are providing services in various locations in both communities outside of the American Job Center. And in Ohio, they're called the Ohio Means Job Centers. But we have staff that go consistently to libraries to provide access to the services and to connect individuals who may not be able to get to the physical brick and mortar facility. So trying to make it a more accessible means of connecting with us versus just having to come to the center to meet with staff. That has proven to be pretty successful in a sense of people being able to tap into those services and not have to come the distance that sometimes requires transportation that people lack, resources that people lack. And in a lot of instances, people might even be more comfortable going into a library setting versus coming into a government building that they may not be as comfortable with. We've also deployed staff where we have connectivity in places such as transitional housing, locations or community providers that are offering that type of service, women's shelter. We've had staff that have tried to connect with individuals that are in recovery programs and trying to improve their situation, and just trying to make sure that they understand that the public workforce system is here for when they're ready to seek employment. Obviously, everybody's not all ready at once when they're in their path to recovery, but kind of, again, trying to meet people where they are. Maybe somebody's ready for part-time work, but not full-time work, and doing our best to try to, work around their availability and their needs to help them with trying to reach economic stability. So, I'd have to attribute, we're putting together a model here in both the Medina and Summit location, refining some of the procedures that have been in place. And this is a contract that has been in place for just over a year now, and a number of changes trying to improve the supports and the ability for the job seekers, employers that are trying to connect to our system to benefit from what we're doing with the changes. We've tried to be a little bit more focused on the intake and outreach process, and making sure that customers have satisfied eligibility requirements before they're scheduled to meet with our career coaches. And that's really, when you think about the services and the support that's along the way, our career coaches are the staff that are there to help folks who might be needing to pursue occupational skill training or training to obtain some form of certification to make themselves more employable or more job ready. And those coaches are expected to keep up with the participants who are on their caseload minimally once a month, if not more often, just to continue the relationship building that's necessary to make this a successful system. And that would be true all the way to job placement. So, just because somebody finishes their training program doesn't mean that our services stop there. We want to now continue to coach and provide the support along the way that folks need until they become gainfully employed and in a position that is likely to help them be self-sufficient, not just their initial employment in all instances. I continually make sure that I tell the staff that, and what I've stressed over the years, this whole public workforce system is about relationship building and having somebody trust that you're really here to help them and that you're compassionate about their particular situations. Somebody that finds themselves laid off, maybe who has never experienced a layoff, making sure that they, again, have the supports of the knowledge and experience that we have helping people who are in similar situations that they're in, and continually providing that coaching and support that's going to help them as they continue to strive to become reemployed. And I've also stressed that we don't necessarily get people jobs. We're here to be the crutch along the way. And while in some instances we might have relationships with employers where we're trying to help get people connected to the employers we're working with, in some instances we don't have the relationships for the particular type of job somebody's looking for, or maybe they're doing some more of their self-directed employment search, and just, again, providing that support along the way. How many resumes did you send out this week? How many interviews did you get from those resumes being sent out? What type of questions did they ask you on the interview? How did you answer those questions? How might you have answered them differently? Like those type of supports and guidance to try to continually help people, where hopefully our experience is paying off in a sense of them being connected to our system. So one of the tools that we've been using, and we're continually looking for how else we might use it, and I would say that this is an innovative practice, is the Engage by Cell system. And I know that some of the other KRA teams might be using the product as well. But this is an excellent mean of trying to keep people informed through text messages of things that are happening at the center. It could be job fairs that are being planned. It could be recruitment sessions that are taking place at a business. It could be distributing information about hot jobs. but using the Engage by Cell system, not only as the means of letting folks know of those type of events that might be taking place, but also as a means of trying to get more people connected to our system. We do have the benefit that our client here in Ohio is providing us with weekly new claimant reports who are individuals who are new in the sense of being filing claims with the unemployment system, and trying to use the tools to connect those people to our system. And even if it's just a text that might say, this is the Ohio Means Job System reaching out, we know your situation and we want to talk to you about some of our services, and then kind of teeing that up for somebody in our team actually picking up the phone and then trying to connect with somebody to tell them more about the services and ask any or answer any questions that somebody may have about the services that we deliver. The hope is that that type of outreach technique and utilizing that type of technology will hopefully get more people connected to our system. Because over the years, another thing that I've heard many, many times, and it's not our intent, is that the public workforce system tends to be something that a lot of people aren't aware of. And when you try to tap into everybody that's a new claimant to unemployment, you would hope that people don't perceive it as being a system that nobody knows about, and trying to get more people to benefit from these public services that are available. I was recently asked to present during a manager's meeting something about best practice and success story. And I used an example, and while I'm relatively new to KRA, I've just passed the 3.5-month mark now, I think. But it's an experience already that I've seen happen where, as one of my initial meetings, I was connected with an economic development corporation in Medina County who has employers as members, as well as many community organizations, and had the opportunity to meet with the executive director for the organization and to learn more about the Economic Development Corporation's business and approach and what their goals were, but also to make sure that our system was connecting to the Economic Development Corporation, realizing that they do work very closely with the business community. And through the meeting and conversation, I learned of an employer in Medina County who happened to be located in Brunswick, Ohio. And it was an employer that happened to have some success with the prior vendor that was providing services in this workforce area, who hadn't successfully connected to the KRA services. And I think they had experienced some problem when the contract first started, and recognizing that we're here to build relationships, immediately reached out to the employer and set up a time for myself and our business services manager to go out, meet with them, learn what their needs were. And we were able to schedule some on-site recruitment events that were targeted towards people that live near their business, which was one of their expectations, because they have higher turnover when they hire people from further out from where they're located. And we held the recruitment sessions. We had some of our business service reps that were on site helping to intake people, fill out the forms that we need. Had a smaller turnout, but at least the people that turned out tended to be applicant types that the business was interested in. We even had our staff at our OMJ Center who were sending people the day of the event. And the success that I found was that we had a husband and wife who happened to be laid off from a company that we provided rapid response services to, Joann Fabrics, who nationwide had impact with their layoff. But this husband and wife went, applied for jobs. The business was like 5 miles from where they lived. They both were hired. They both were getting a decent wage, very comparable to what they were making. And the employer was happy. So they, in return, talked to the Economic Development Corporation, which makes them happy, which continues them to refer more people to KRA businesses for us to be able to hopefully repeat that type of example and continue to build those relationships and do well at what we do. No, I would say that that best practice that I just shared is probably my answer to that question. Again, it was really using the business community through the Economic Development Corp. We also shared information about the recruitment with many community organizations. We even learned that one of the providers that's offering youth services in the county was referring a couple students that they were working with to this opportunity based upon the information that we shared. So those are perfect examples of how working closely with economic development, working closely with other providers, obviously working closely with the employer community, and then hopefully our staff getting people that they're working with connected to those opportunities would be what I would say is going to be key to making sure that the system is working the way that it's intended on working.